Did you guys even notice? Did you guys even notice I'm back on the old set? Did you even notice me, senpai? But on all this makeup for nothing. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video on my thoughts on Marvel stuff. Today's video is on the Hawkeye series because I might be late, but I am also persistent. If you don't believe me, look at my video views. Please share this video and watch it to the end. Hawkeye centers on the adventures of Clint Barton and Kate Bishop as they try and absolve Clint of his troubled past and try to save Christmas by meddling with Kate's parents' love life. And that's partly a joke, but also what happens in the show. This series gets to explore one of the least appreciated Avengers, flesh him out, and show just how badass he can be. He's not just a guy with a bow and arrow, you know what I mean? So let's do him all a favor by reviewing his show, and let's kick off this bad boy, huh? What do you say?
Hang on a second.
Alright, first off, I'm just glad that Hawkeye has a fan. He deserves more love than people give him, and that's just facts. Yes, Kate Bishop is a little green, a little foolhardy, and kind of every now and then has that like rich girl snobbishness around her, but she fences, so she's immediately cool by my standards. I love how she took initiative and dedicated her whole life to being ready for this one moment where she gets to fight alongside Hawkeye. And I just love the dynamic and the banter that she has with Clint. They're an excellent, like, you know, buddy cop thing going on. I also like how they touch on the darker side of who Clint is. And I'm not even referring to his past as Ronin. I feel like throughout the entire series, and definitely in some times during Endgame, you can tell that he's holding back skills that are for, you know, unaliving people. Which also then justifies why he's not comfortable with Kate idolizing him. Hawkeye is more than a soldier. He's always been more than a soldier. I'm just not sure if anybody noticed. He's not even necessarily an Avenger. His first and foremost directive is to be a weapon for S.H.I.E.L.D. There's red in his ledger. Tons of it. And I feel like a very important comparison to make to Romanov is that I don't think that he feels as bad for it. Definitely not as much as she does. She clearly seems to be a lot more sympathetic and empathetic to the things she's done in her past, whereas Clint clearly seems to feel like a lot of it was justified. At least that's how I see it, in my opinion. I also like how this show had this through line of fake heroes versus real heroes, like what it really takes to be a real hero. Kate and the LARPers all aspire to be these big heroes, and they dress up like them and they pretend to be them. But the one guy who is a hero, who does do the work and gets dressed up to do the work, that's the last thing he wants to do. He doesn't want to put on a suit, and he doesn't want to go on these tiring missions anymore. Like, he's done, and he doesn't think that any of it is worth it or as glamorous as these other people believe it to be. Excuse me. Honestly, I don't even think if Clint knows whether or not to call himself a hero with all the blood on his hands. I found the LARPers quite interesting since they're made up of law enforcement and firefighters and so on and so forth. They're made up of professionals trained to put themselves in harm's way in order to do the right thing, in order to save people in very dire situations, or to catch criminals and etc. But they live in a world in which their calling, their jobs are overshadowed by Norse gods carrying magical hammers and billionaires in gold titanium alloy suits. They're somehow even less important than a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent with a bow and arrow. And it's to the point where these trained professionals cannot get the masses to listen to their directions unless they're dressed like superheroes. I feel like it's a nice little gaze into the everyday life of somebody living in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Of course, there's also the magnificent performance of Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova. It really was the icing of the cake in the show. Her scenes with Haley Steinfeld were amazing, to the point where I feel like that macaroni and cheese scene between Yelena and Kate might be the best scene in the entire series. They also revealed the return of Kingpin, played once again by the amazing Vincent D'Onofrio. And as I said in the No Way Home video, this legitimizes a lot of things that we saw on Marvel's run on Netflix. And we could see a lot of things from there coming into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Anything can go at this point. We could see Luke Cage, we could see Jessica Jones. The only thing we don't need to see is Danny Rand. Please do not show us Danny Rand ever again. I am done with the Iron Fist. If you're gonna do it again, you have to do it very differently. I don't want to see that guy again. I'll take Colleen. I will take Colleen, but you can keep Danny. And speaking of mediocre heroes,
you're Hawkeye.
Who the hell are you?
I feel like the weakest parts of this show are the parts that follow Kate's family. I didn't really care for the drama surrounding her stepfather, and in a few ways, that kind of build-up doesn't ever really get resolved. I also didn't buy him as a villain. You know, he's got this cartoonish air around him. He's got this accent, and of course I'm not making fun of his accent, but he's got this accent and he's got this evil mustache. I don't know, to me it felt like too many signs that he was clearly a diversion. And I mean, once you know a diversion is a diversion, it kind of loses the appeal of being a diversion. So I also, to be honest, I mean, I guess it does come down to how it's shown to you, but I don't think they did a good job in showing me the struggles of having to live this crazy rich life in New York. Hard for me to feel sympathy for that. I mean, when you are hosting galas and soirees or whatever, kind of hard to sympathize with you, man. Especially when all you're gonna do is just total that money in my face. Also, and of course, I mean this in the best way possible, Rogers, the musical, was a violation. Just no two ways about it, honestly. It's like, what the hell was that? A very fascinating surprise, which I feel like you do see coming if you know Kate's backstory from the comics, is that Kate's mother is a bad guy who was working with the Kingpin, and that's revealed to you at the end of the series, and it caught me... Okay, it didn't catch me by surprise because, I mean, I knew what was going on, but I just liked how they did it. It felt authentic. My only note about that, and it isn't really a negative thought, but I really need to get this off my chest. Did you see that type of mom nonsense that her mom tried to pull on her? When Kate, no.
Is this what heroes do? Is this what they do? They get their mothers arrested on Christmas?
No. You don't get to commit crimes and do bad things and literally have people killed and then try and flip it on me. That's not how this is not gonna go. No. You don't get to work with criminals and then come try and talk morals to my face. Now you go sit behind those bars and think about what you've done, young lady.
Holy shit! There are arrows more dangerous than that one?
But most importantly, I feel like it's a good series in terms of Hawkeye, and I feel like there's a lot more respect for who he is and what he can do, and I respect that they gave him a protege, and it's nice to have another young Avenger set up in the MCU. Rotten Tomatoes gave this series a 92%, which is surprising to me. I actually didn't see that coming. I thought it would score much lower. And IMDb gave it a 7.7, which is pretty high. I would say a little bit higher than I would have forecasted. 7.7 out of 10. It's pretty high for what I thought this show would get. I'm going to give it a nice, sweet 3.7 out of 5. But hey, that's all from me, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. You know what I need you to do. And of course, visit our Patreon, become a patron, and join us in the Thought Chamber so we can talk about all of this beautiful nerd stuff together. The next video will be on Arcade81, the super scary Netflix show. Really creepy, really messes with your head. Can't wait to talk about that with you guys. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.